Hi friends, I'm Elena. Welcome to Wellspring Home. I'm so glad you're here. In this video, I thought I would just take you along with me to get some homemaking chores done while my big kids are at school this day. So that was starting with cleaning up the kitchen and sort of getting it reset for the day. I was actually doing this kitchen reset while my kids were eating breakfast this day, so I refilled the butter crock, loaded and unloaded the dishwasher, cleared and wiped the counters, and just sort of reset the space to get ready for the day. I always like to start the day with a dirty dishwasher so that dishes throughout the day can go straight into the dishwasher. So by this point, I had dropped the big kids off and was finally getting to my first cup of coffee for the day, and I went ahead and wrote out my to-do list for the day. I'm a big list maker. I find it just kind of helps me organize what I need to do and helps me be more productive. So the first thing on the list for this day was to start a load of laundry. I pretty much try to start a load of laundry at the beginning of every day, and that way I can get it swapped and drying throughout the day. Although I don't always get to folding it and putting it away the same day. That's the goal, I just don't always do it. Also, this might be bad, but I definitely don't separate my laundry. I do pull the towels out and wash the towels all together, and I wash my baby's clothes separately because my baby gets like a specifically gentle laundry detergent, but everything else pretty much just goes in together, and then I separate the kids' stuff and our stuff as I'm folding it. Fun fact, I also don't fold my kids' clothes. They never stay folded. They always just end up kind of shoved in the drawer. So I just stopped taking the time to fold them. And now I just separate them into categories by drawer. And man, it really cut down the amount of time it takes me to fold laundry. Next on the list was letting the chickens out and grabbing some eggs. Typically my husband lets the chickens out when he wakes up about 5:30 or whenever it gets light outside, but he had been running late this day and didn't have the chance to do it. So I went ahead and let them out, and I accidentally left the door to their little fenced off area open clearly, and so I just let them forage in the yard for a little while. A few of these eggs were pretty dirty, so I just went ahead and rinsed them off before I put them in the fridge. You can definitely store fresh eggs at room temperature and they'll last a good while, especially if you don't wash them, but it's just easier for us to store everything in the fridge and then we wash them with soap as we use them. So this washing, just rinsing with water, doesn't remove the bloom and they still last a good while. And then once we're ready to use them, we just wash however many we need with soap before cracking them. We're going to go ahead and start making some baked oatmeal bars. My husband really likes these to take to work. The kids like to munch on them. I'm actually going to double the recipe. One recipe makes an 8x8 pan, so I'm going to go ahead and do it in this 9x13. So we start with 4 cups of oats instead of the 2. Also, the recipe has you mix the wet and dry separately in bowls. I don't usually do that. I just mix it all in the pan so that I don't have to dirty a bowl. Here we've got 2/3 a cup of packed brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, And y'all can probably hear my air fryer going in the background right now. I'm making myself some lunch while I record this voiceover, so please excuse that. And I will link this recipe in the description as well. Three teaspoons of baking powder. I like to kind of sprinkle it over the top like this so that it doesn't clump up as much. A teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of cinnamon. Again, just sprinkled over the top so it doesn't clump. I went ahead and grabbed a bowl for my eggshells, and then for the doubled recipe we need 4 large eggs. I have 3 large eggs and 2 smaller eggs. I just used 2 of my smaller ones to equal 1 large one, and I washed these before baking with them since they're fresh. Now I need 2 cups of milk. And I didn't bother getting out the wet measuring cup since I already had this dry one out. This recipe doesn't require you be super precise, so I didn't worry about it. The recipe calls for canola oil, but I'm using avocado oil instead, so I need 4 tablespoons of avocado oil. I'm pretty sure that 4 tablespoons is equal to 1/4 a cup, but I already had my tablespoon measure out, so I just used that. And lastly, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then I'm just going to stir everything up until it's really well combined. And then I actually let this sit to kind of absorb and meld together for about 20 minutes before I put it in the oven. Okay, so it's been about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'm going to put this in at 350 for probably about 40 minutes. While those were baking, I decided to make my daughter some hair clips for Valentine's Day. This week was Valentine's Day, and she was having a party at school that Thursday. So I found these little foam hearts at the Dollar Tree and made her some little hair clips that we ended up clipping into her bows. So she had a pink bow with a heart on it for Valentine's Day, and I went ahead and made some for my nieces too. I ended up putting these back in the oven. The recipe said to bake them for 30 minutes, but they were still pretty gloopy and the egg wasn't quite set at that 30-minute mark. So I ended up baking these closer to 45 minutes. Well, friends, thank you so much for being here with me today as I just kind of got some stuff done around the house. I appreciate you so much. And I hope you will click the like button if you like this kind of content and hit the subscribe button for more. Thanks again, guys.